often, we think we know the solution, and you go to the community with a ready-made solution, and you wonder why that is not getting much traction. But I think that you learn from experience, and you change your approach, and really found out what their lived experience and felt needs were, and then tried to address those and match potential solutions to. Clearly at that time, I think child labor and the kind of poverty that you saw in those families is something that cannot help to move people, and you want to do something. But then what is it you do that is not just helping somebody for one day or few days, but makes a sustained change in their life? I think that's the real challenge that many NGOs face. And often what happens is that there's a project, one does something for a period of time, and then when you withdraw the project, then there is nothing much that's left behind, and that's not really serving anybody. So I think the kind of interventions which transform people, especially women, and enable them to use their skills and intellect. In fact, these rural women have much more wisdom, they have a lot of practical knowledge and a lot of aspirations, because I also travel quite a lot now in rural and tribal areas because of the work with the MS Swaminathan Research Foundation, and I'm also learning a lot. And one thing I do see is that young people have aspirations, particularly since most of them are now at least finishing class 10 or 12, if not beyond. And it's only the lack of opportunity that's keeping them from, it's not the lack of intent or the lack of aspiration. And they see their parents very often as toiling really hard, either as agricultural workers or labor, daily wage labor, etc. They don't want that life. They want something better, which means skilled employment, an employment where they can also get a satisfaction, not just earning a minimum wage, but getting satisfaction from what you do. I think is extremely important, and I think all of us would agree that the reason one goes to work in the morning is not because you'll get a salary check at the end of the month, though of course that is very welcome, but it is because you enjoy what you do. So I think finding those opportunities and providing them, and those are very contextual, they are specific to the area. Recently we did a study on looking at the impact of climate change on women and children. This was something that the previous Minister of Women and Child Development had asked for. And what we found was very concerning. Of course, intuitively I knew, but we found real evidence that women and children are being disproportionately impacted by climate change, whether it is having to travel further to gather water or to find fodder for the livestock, or whether it is being having less crop yields or crop failure because of drought and dry spells, or whether it is being displaced due to floods and things like that. It is always the women and children, and we also found very disturbing evidence that in districts that have been exposed to repeated climate hazards like repeated droughts, especially, or prolonged heat over many, many years, in those districts women's health suffered. They were more underweight, there were more girl-child marriages, and there was more domestic violence and abuse. And so all of these things really mean that while today, maybe 20 years ago, in terms of child labor and things were difficult, but we're facing new challenges today. And so we have to constantly look for appropriate solutions, and climate change is coming so fast that everything is changing before our eyes, even before we can think how to adapt. We see the things which are happening, whether it is the soil and water issues in rural areas, or whether it is urban heat. This is something that, and in a coastal city like Chennai, it is also the sea level rise, which is predicted, by the end of the century to be more than a meter. So again, it's the most vulnerable amongst us that is always impacted the first and impacted in the largest way, because if somebody who's already on the edge loses their home or loses their livelihood, it's much more difficult for them to catch up again. And so I think this is why we need to do some anticipatory work on building resilience in communities. The traditional occupations may soon be gone. I mean, we're already seeing fishermen, especially the small fishermen, saying that they can no longer make a living because they just don't catch the amount of fish that they used to. So many traditional livelihoods are going to be impacted. So we're going to have to look for green jobs, jobs in new sectors, and this means a lot of skilling and a lot of capacity building. So while the government does have very big plans and programs, I think it takes NGOs also to work on the ground to really make those. And one of the things, of course, that Hand in Hand does, and many of us do, is the link between government and the community. Very often, the community is so far removed in terms of the capacity to really understand all the hundreds of schemes out there and which ones are relevant for them, that it needs that in-between group of people who can, bring the two hands together, so hand in hand. And so I think that all of these lessons that you have captured in the book, your journey through an NGO, but also through setting up the microfinance, running a business successfully, is hats off. And so I think it's going to inspire a lot of young men and women, I hope, and hope that there will be many more such initiatives and movements around the world. And it's nice that you're also international, because many things that are learnt in one part of the world, we should be replicating in other parts of the world. So again, once again, congratulations. Thank you for inviting me today to be with you all.
Thank you all for the motivational words. We are also privileged to have with us, albeit virtually, Shri Sridhar Vembu, the visionary technopreneur. Has he been connected? Yeah. Shri Sridhar Vembu is an entrepreneur, founder and CEO of Zoho Corporation, a leading software development company known for its suite of online productivity tools. With a PhD from Princeton University, Vembu has revolutionized the software industry by focusing on developing world-class products from rural India. He is recognized for his visionary leadership and commitment to empowering local communities by creating opportunities outside of urban centers. Mr. Sridhar Vembu's work has earned him numerous accolades, including the prestigious Padma Shri Award from the Government of India. Let us all welcome him.
Thank you, and apologies for not being able to join you. Personally, I have some initiatives here going on in 2 villages the last 2 days. I have to be here. First of all, I was going through the book excerpts, all that. Dr. Kalpana Shankar has done an amazing job. The transformation from a scientist, nuclear physicist to entrepreneur, and in particular, the thing that is very touching for me is rural microfinance. It's very personal. I tell you why. On a day-to-day basis here in these villages where I am currently speaking from Tenkasi, but just yesterday I was in Tanjavur, one other village. Again, on a weekly basis, I probably visit 3 or 4 new villages, various events, and that's most of my other activity other than running a software company. And the biggest one economic problem trapping our rural households is the whole finance business. Particularly in Tamil, we call it Kanduvati or Hintervadi, whatever we call it. It's 5%, 6%, 7% per month interest rate, sometimes 10% per month. People are trapped in it, and I come across a lot of people, a lot of women in particular. Families are devastated. Of course, that along with alcohol, these two in the hills. I'm so glad to see the microfinance revolution, affordable credit for particularly rural women. from Dr. Kalpana Shankar, and that is something so much more is needed in our rural communities. And I really applaud her for her visionary pioneering work in this area. And the scientist entrepreneurship, that's also a very interesting topic. I have a PhD in electrical engineering. My original goal was to become a professor. I mean, you don't do a PhD unless you want to become a professor. That's usually the case. And then life path changed, and somehow I always say I'm an accidental businessman. I ended up being a businessman, and there's some similar parallels I see what she's gone through, and so that also resonated for me a lot. That how you trained in some area, in her case nuclear physics. I had a deep, my own field was very mathematical too, in electrical engineering, and then finally I ended up in software as a businessman. And then what she has done in microfinance is deeply also very motivating for me, particularly because of where I live and what I come across. And we need a lot, for example, to shine through for a lot more people, and I hope from this book she's able to reach a lot of people. And one suggestion is, of course, we also have to translate this into, because so many of our rural population cannot read English, so it has to be available also in Tamil, maybe simplified editions. In fact, we have actually from the New Horizon Media that has taken up these books before, where translated and offer it at a very affordable rate in Tamil, another languages too. So, because these things have to reach a lot more people. This book has to particularly reach so that it can inspire people a lot more. And so those are some of the things I wanted to say, and I wish I could be there today, but I've been extremely occupied in one of these events in the last few weeks in particular. And so I applaud her for this visionary work and commitment, and I hope to meet her soon when I come to Chennai in the next few weeks. So thank you very much, ma'am, and congratulations on this release of this book, and I wish you much more success, grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for joining us and sharing your valuable words. Up next, we have a special felicitation speech by Ms. Swati. Before that, let me take this opportunity to introduce her. Ms. Swati Martin is a celebrated African entrepreneur, author, and consciousness activist. After a successful decade-long career with General Electric, where she held leadership roles across various global divisions, she pursued her entrepreneurial aspirations. In 2012, she founded Yiswara, a socially conscious gourmet tea company that celebrates African culture. Ms. Swati is also the creator of Lux Ubuntu concept, promoting inclusive business models. Beyond entrepreneurship, she launched the Tunche Global Consciousness Summit to foster global compassion and inner transformation. Ms. Swati is a Triumph alumnus, like Dr. Kalpana Shankar here, and a prolific author, as she has written 13 spiritual books for children and is deeply committed to African leadership and women's empowerment. Ma'am, I'd like, not me, we all like for you to share a couple of words of wisdom. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, on behalf of all of our PM EMBA cohort, I stand before you today to honor a woman whose life is a testament to the power of compassion, determination, and unwavering belief in the potential of humanity. Kalpana, your autobiography, The Scientist Entrepreneur Empowering Millions of Women, is a masterpiece that not only chronicles your extraordinary journey, but also inspires us to all strive for a better world. I feel immensely honored to be here today to celebrate the story of one of the most inspiring humans I have been blessed to meet in this lifetime. I first met Kalpana in 2010, and our shared experience during the 2 years of our EMBA. Sorry, I'm a bit emotional. I guess that's part of, and I'll speak about it, being a woman leader. But throughout the years of knowing Kalpana, Kalpana has continually amazed me by her commitment to social justice and her ability to inspire others to join her cause. Kalpana embodies the spirit of an iconic leader, not a true leader, but an iconic leader. She is a visionary, a path-breaking change maker, committed to excellence and integrity. Kalpana possesses the unique ability to see the multi-dimensional and multi-layered aspects of complex problems, and she has a remarkable vision for the future. She doesn't just envision a better world, she actually actively creates it. Kalpana's indomitable determination is one of her most defining qualities. She has overcome countless obstacles and broken stereotypes that would often characterize the heart-centered approach of women as weak. But Kalpana has demonstrated the opposite, proving that her heart-centered, empathic, humble leadership is not only possible, but incredibly effective in creating major systemic changes, cultural evolution, and breaking mindset patterns of systemic poverty. Through her tireless efforts, Kalpana has changed the lives of millions of people. Her work has had a profound impact on communities around the world. It's important to remember that she accomplished all of this while fulfilling her roles and duties as a mother and as a wife, as a sister, as a friend, as a community leader, and the so many hats she wears. Her dedication to her family and her work is a testament of her extraordinary ability. Kalpana, your legacy will inspire generations to come. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to social justice and for showing us the power of hope, compassion, and determination. There is so much more to share about you, Kalpana, but I encourage everyone to read this book. I devoured it within a few hours. I couldn't drop it once I started. And for you to discover the extent of her remarkable journey. Kalpana, this is sacred work you have been doing. We are grateful to the Creator for all you are, all you have done, and may you and your loved ones be blessed throughout generations for all the good you have done, and I know will continue to do. I now pray that you find people to fill your shoes so you can have time for yourself, with your granddaughter, your family, and to enjoy really your life. And that others showcase their gratitude by continuing the extraordinary work you have done your entire life to this day. I thank you, Kalpana. God bless you. I'm very emotional. We've met so many years ago, and just to see, I think it was just a few years after you took over and started growing already organization, and really thank you for everything, Kalpana. God bless you. Thank you.
Ma'am also wanted me to share an additional bit of trivia with all of you that Ms. Swadi has featured in Oprah Winfrey Show, and she's also mentored by Desmond Tutu? Okay. Yeah, you can. So.
Well, it's a little bit weird to see our own accolades, so, but at least for accuracy, but I've been on the Oprah Almost Powerful List of Women for Africa, and I'm an Archbishop Desmond Tutu Leadership Fellow and on the board of the African Leadership Institute, amongst others.
Thank you, ma'am. I kindly request Dr. Soumya and Ms. Swati to come off the stage and take their seats, and I request Ms. Anu to come on the stage. We now move on to an exciting segment, fireside chat between the ever-engaging Anu Hassan and Dr. Kalpana Shankar. This promises to be an insightful one, and stay tuned for the conversation. But before that, a small update on the rules. We'll be having the floor open for a 5-minute Q&A session. So kindly do keep your questions pointed, and do allow others also to avail the same opportunity. Before we proceed, let me introduce you all to Ms. Anu Hassan. Ms. Anu Hassan is an accomplished actress, entrepreneur and television host, best known for her debut in the Tamil film Indra, directed by Mani Ratnam. With a diverse career spanning cinema, television and entrepreneurship, she has garnered respect for her versatility and dynamic presence. Ms. Anu has hosted several popular TV shows, including Coffee with Anu, which has gained her a large following. In addition to her entertainment career, she is a motivational speaker and author, known for her autobiography, Sunny Side Up. Ms. Anu's multifaceted career reflects her passion for the arts and personal growth. We're all glad to have you here, Anu ma'am, and I request Ms. Bindu to kindly offer Ms. Anu a token of gratitude.
Very good evening, everybody. It's an absolute honor for me to be here. And when Dr. Kalpana asked me whether I would do this fireside chat, I said, of course, I would love to. Because while the book tells us of your journey, we'd like to understand the heart and the soul and the mind and the person behind the book itself. So I'll start off with the very first basic question. What prompted you to write the book and why the book?
My career has been it's an unique one. I started off as a scientist. I met some of the brightest minds, and I did not know the value of my PhD till I read Einstein's biography. There he speaks about Los Alamos. My PhD was actually reviewed and cleared by Los Alamos University. So when I watched the Oppenheimer film, I was very thrilled. So I could not pursue my career in nuclear physics because I felt that was not my inner calling. I worked in government for 10 years. That gave me a perspective about how government functions, about how interventions can be designed for the poor. Then I switched on to hand in hand. It gives me a lot of happiness when I think about hand in hand because thanks to Percy, our directors, our staff, we started off with a very small setup in Kanchipuram with three full-time staff and a couple of part-time people. We were able to expand to 18 states within India and 10 countries. Many of you may be surprised if I say that I have received calls from Pentagon. I was really scared on a landline in 2005 or 6. They wanted to make a donation for our Afghanistan initiative, and also the office of the President of South Africa. He used to call us to fix up meetings. So it has been an incredible journey, and I witnessed poverty. So that made me transform me also as a person. And not all of them take the plunge from transforming a not-for-profit entity to a for-profit entity. Worldwide itself, they say about only 5 to 7% success is there when such transformation occurs. I think acquisition of Belstar has provided sustainability to hand in hand, and also they are able to provide financial inclusion to 27 lakh people. And in a country like ours, where we have the rich-poor divide, providing employment to 13,000 people, I am very thankful to God for that wonderful opportunity. I did not have a lot of wealth before setting it up. It was with minimum resources, because of hard work, the team's commitment, we were able to scale up the enterprise. I felt that it will motivate youth, other women to pursue entrepreneurship. Generally, when people think about entrepreneurship, they think you need to have a lot of wealth, but entrepreneurship is about a mindset to solve some problem. So that's what I wanted to convey through the book.
Beautiful. And the thing is, it's such a difficult journey, right? I mean, you are saying it in a few words, in a few paragraphs, but then it must have been an incredibly challenging one for the past 2 decades in which you've been in this area. What were some of the main challenges that you faced, which no longer exist now?
The initial stages, acceptance by the community, because everybody was worried. The NGOs were worried why I gave up my government job, because I went on leave for 3 years to serve in the NGO. So initial stages, acceptance by the community was a major problem. So we had to place ourselves in their shoes to understand. At that point in time, my board members, they had a lot of wisdom and expertise. They said, you have to be very humble, you can't expect instantaneous results. So over a period of time, community started accepting me, and even getting support from stakeholders, government and others. Without 3 years balance sheet, nobody looks at you. So initial stages it's quite frustrating, but whenever I wanted to quit, my family used to say, not everybody gets such an opportunity to serve, because I've seen children, vulnerable children working in rooms, working for 8 to 10 hours, and then they completely they have lost. I used to feel that they have lost their childhood. So I feel we cannot transform the lives of the poor people, but at least we can do something to make their lives better. So I found a lot of opportunities, and I started enjoying it.
Right. And was there a set of people who, I mean, of course, your family has been an incredible support to you. Are there other people who have helped you face these challenges that you'd like to mention?
No, everybody has been supportive, because once you see that there is value in what you do and you are true to yourself, it takes time, because I've seen several people criticizing, even where I want to come and the field, it's all that stuff. Because then you get used to it, and then you look only at the end result. So now nearly 1,500 child laborers, they have completed their post-graduation, and even the lives of self-help group women, they were all illiterate when they joined the movement. Today, I can list, if you give me permission, if all of you give me some time, I can assemble 5,000 people. Their sons are doctors, engineers. Several SAG women used to tell me, not only your daughter is studying in Anna University, my daughter is also studying in Anna. So I got strength from the women and from the community, because once they started trusting me, there was no looking back.
Right.
And the investment from Muthoot also came at the right time, because everybody knew my social side. So people were not willing to invest money in our enterprise, because they were not sure whether it will yield results. But Muthoot gave me a major breakthrough in 2016, and that has helped us to scale up our enterprise.
Yes, that has been a brilliant amalgamation of both the commitment to positive change as well as making sure they have the power to make that change, isn't it?
Yes.
And when you publish this book, what effect do you hope this book will have?
My dream, I'll say, we need to be more inclusive as a society. Especially poor women, they need to have access to basic things like education, health. When you go to Bihar, Jharkhand, after a trip, you cannot sleep, because at the age of 25, they have 4 children. And every day is a struggle for many women. So that keeps you wondering, even after independence, after so many years, still, I wouldn't say all of them are suffering. some 17 to 20% are ultra poor. So I feel quality of life should improve for all. And I also believe that like Walter Isaacson, we need more people to actually showcase Indian role models, because we look up to Indra Nooyi and others. We have great scientists like Dr. Soumya and 3 brilliant IAS officers, women who have actually not discounting the services of male IAS officers, but it is a lot of challenges like work-life balance, and they've been very successful, very purposeful in their journey. I think their stories have to be written, and lot of very good, we see eminent doctors in our country. So we hardly know about them unless we get to meet them. So I think through this book, I hope many people start writing their autobiography, and institutions should come forward to support the women. That will give bring about a lot of positive change in the society.
Yes, so this could snowball into a bigger movement which showcases a lot of the work that is being done. And also, what is the message that you would like to give to women who are looking for both hope and inspiration, and to women who want to be the source of that hope and inspiration?
I think women should be very confident, women should be financially independent, and several times even when we depute some women for some foreign training, immediately they'll come and say, no, my son is in class 10, my mother is having cataract. I think I used to tell your spouse can manage, your child can manage. Any opportunity that comes your way, I think women should make the utmost use of it, because you don't get opportunities often. So whatever comes your way, please grab the opportunity and then be confident. Lots of women in our country, they need help. So I think people who are slightly better off, we should devote time to mentor such people, because everybody has an aspiration, even to validate their business plan, to validate their ideas, give them some hope. So those are the changes that I would like to see.
And while it has been a very hard journey, because you see the hardships of so many women and who could have had a better life if only they had the opportunity. While it has been hard, I'm sure there have been very happy moments as well in this journey. So what would you say is, top of the list?
No, I've seen a lot of challenges and a lot of good success stories also. I was very happy. We invest a lot in skill training, and a youth called me from Siachen. He said, I'm serving the Indian Army now, I'm working for the country. So it brought tears to my eyes when I heard his voice. He said, I can't reveal the location. So he was acting very true to his job. And I always get inspired when I talk about Meera. When we mobilized her and admitted her in our residential school, she was a tribal girl. She was grazing cattle. At that point in time, our mobilizers identified her, then brought her to her residential school. When she topped in the 10th grade exam, and then Chandrababu facilitate the Pradeepa award, I was very, very happy, and I really cried as though my daughter had achieved the feat.
So despite the hardships I think the beautiful part about you, Dr. Kalpana, is that a lot of times it's like the doctors in emergency, in ICUs, they see so much trauma. It takes a very special person to not get inured to it and get desensitized. I think your power comes from the fact that your empathy is still there, and you still see, you still feel, and that has translated into this beautiful book. So I'm sure everyone here would love to read this book, but I also know that there are some people here who would like to ask questions as well of you, so I'll throw open the floor to questions if we have any.
Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity. There is always a saying that behind every successful man, there is a woman. Now, if you are asked to frame that, how will you frame it?
I would first say I'm thankful to God for the opportunity, because not everybody gets an award from the UN headquarters or 3 national awards, and I have not actually applied for anything, because I was handpicked for all the awards. So I think it is the grace of God. But of course, whenever I felt like quitting, when people were being because for not-for-profit sector you work for your satisfaction, it is not for money. Then people tend to criticize my family stood by me and they said, no, you're doing a wonderful job. Somebody, especially for women, we need that reassurance time to time. And I've also found good friends like you. I know you're always, during Corona, she did a wonderful show because green friends services are very much required, even to clear the medical waste. So she spoke to one of them and promoted them as the radio jockeys, actually encouraging them for the work they were doing. And there are some of them, the green friends, their children are now engineers and they are working in IT. So at that point in time, your talk was really helpful and it motivated all of them to clear dead bodies, to work. So it was very, very motivating. So I come forth to same thing.
But the answer is not complete.
I think the answer is not complete because you expected something which you didn't get, isn't it? I think
it started with the thought, we moved towards this Anu.
Oh, is that what you saw?
Family, friends, board members, I acknowledge all of them are there.
No, still the answer is not complete.
Congratulations, Dr. Kalpana. We feel proud of you. You are our alumni East West Center, Hawaii. The main, my question is, actually you have gone from the scientific world and administration to this rural development and micro enterprises. After doing the service about 20 years, again, how you came back for the program in East West Center in 2014, and you started working with this scientific work, full-time professor like Dr. Maya, subjects of President Obama, and how you are able to do that type of research and work also. You have gone from the administration scientific world to this rural development microfinance. Currently again you have come back and how you are able to do that?
I never give up on hand in hand. Any opportunity which knocks the door, be it some scholarship, everything has been on scholarship. I could not have afforded the try in EMBA because my classmates were all from multinational companies. They were very rich people. And even East West Center, like every year they pick up one Indian to get trained, and I was very thankful when I got the opportunity. It was a female cohort. I learned a lot at Research Center. So I'm that researcher in me. Even at Hand in Hand from day one, I have been documenting the failure, success, the impact. So, and that's how I came across Maya, Obama's sister, because Obama's mother was also involved in microfinance. So we hit off very well, and then the friendship continued.
We have time for one more question if there is any. Yes, we have.
What's your message to the youth who want to take up a career in the development sector?
A lot of things have changed now. In 2004, it was very difficult to attract talent pool. After the CSR law, amendments, like a lot of jobs are available for youth in the development sector, and it gives an immense joy, like no other job. Like you can get the paycheck, but a job in the development sector, it gives you a lot of joy. The transformation you can see in the lives of poor people. I encourage more the youth to take up such jobs in the development sector, or they can be entrepreneurs and provide jobs to other people. Lot of opportunities are there in India.
I think there is one more question because I saw a hand go up, so let's not cut it.
Hello ma'am, many congratulations on your work. I think the success journey for women is a lot more difficult and different from that of a man. So how do you find the balance between career and your personal life? How do you say yes to things, to be able to be where you are at this position? Something that you would like to advise young career women, young mothers, how to go where you are at this stage while balancing it all?
I think it's about quality time. I learned that from some of the colleagues. like the time you spend at home, you can give them a lot of attention. You can be very pleasant. It is not necessary for you to spend 18 hours with your family. So women, whenever you get an opportunity, you should not miss the opportunity. Don't have any guilt feeling. I remember reading Chetan Bhagat's book. He says you cannot be a good cook, you cannot be a good career woman. We get so frustrated sometimes when we are not able to take all the box. It's okay, some areas we cannot do well, but we should have something as our inner calling and we should pursue that. Because I've seen women in the late 50s, when the children grow up, then they feel there is lack of identity. They think whatever is your passion, you should pursue, you should upskill and find in whatever area you can.
Beautifully said, Dr. Adithanar. Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here. And I'm sure that the questions that she answered is just the tip of the iceberg, because the book is going to be so rich and it's going to also be so enriching for all of you. Thank you for actually writing this book, because there are going to be so many youngsters going to be motivated to look at making, impact, making a positive change. And we hope to see many, many more milestones being crossed simply because of this book. Wish you all the best, Dr. Kalpana, and thank you for all that you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anu ma'am, for giving us that session where it felt like a more professional version of Coffee with Anu, or a more academic version, if I may say that. Next up, I'd like to request Dr. Rajamani to come up on the stage to felicitate Dr. Kalpana Shankar. Dr. Rajamani is the president of East West Center. As we near the end of our program, I invite Mr. C.V. Sankar sir to deliver the vote of thanks. We'll just hold for a while. He's sending our guest off.
Yeah.
ப்ரிகாஷன்ஸ் எடுத்துருக்கோம் எப்படி கவர்மெண்ட் எப்படி ரன் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க?
செக் 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 ஹலோ செக் 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 ஓகேவா ஓகேலா செக் ஹலோ ஹலோ செக் 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 ஹலோ
Okay.
I'll send some.
பட் அவங்க எம்பாக்ஸ் பற்றி கொஞ்சம் சம்மந்தம் ஓகேயா ஓகே முதல்ல நான் வந்து டாக்டர் கல்பனா சங்கரை பாராட்டணும். ஏன்னா இங்கே இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷனுக்கு வந்திருக்கிறது வந்து அவங்களோட புக்கு சயின்டிஸ்ட் ஆண்டர்ப்ரனர் அப்படின்னு ரிலீஸ் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. அவங்களே எழுதியிருக்காங்க அவங்களோட லைஃபோட ஜேர்னி. ஒரு விஞ்ஞானியாக இருந்துட்டு எப்படி ஒரு ஆண்டர்ப்ரனராக அவங்க மாறி நிறையா லட்சக்கணக்கில் ஜனங்களுக்கு வந்து அவங்க ஹேண்ட் இன் ஹேண்ட் அப்படின்னு ஒரு என்ஜிஓ மூலமாக உதவி செஞ்சுருக்காங்க. இப்போ வந்து நீங்கள் எம்பாக்ஸ் பற்றி கேட்டீங்க. WHO பப்ளிக் ஹெல்த் எமர்ஜென்சி ஆஃப் இன்டர்நேஷ்னல் கன்சர்ன் அப்படின்னு டிக்ளேர் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. எம்பாக்ஸுங்கிறது ஒரு ஸ்மால் பாக்ஸ் மாதிரி ஒரு இன்ஃபெக்ஷன். அதே ஃபேமிலி ஆஃப் வைரஸஸ் தான் இந்த வைரஸும் அதில் கலந்துருக்குது. சிக்கன் பாக்ஸ் அப்படின்னு நம்ம பார்க்குறோம், அந்த சின்ன அம்மை அப்படின்னு. ஸோ அது பார்க்குறதுக்கு அதே மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும். ஃபீவர், இந்த அம்மை மாதிரி போடுறது, ரேஷ், லிம்ஃப் நோட், டயர்டாக இருக்கிறது, பசி இல்லாமல் இருக்கிறது, இதுதான் அறிகுறி. ஆக்சுவலாக இது வந்து ஆஃப்ரிக்காவில் தான் ரொம்ப ஒரு எண்டமிக் இன்ஃபெக்ஷன். இந்தியாவில் ஒரு 2 வருஷத்தில் 2022லேருந்து ஒரு 30 கேஸ் கிட்டத்தட்ட கண்டுபிடிச்சிருக்காங்க. ஆனால் அது வந்து மோஸ்ட்லி ட்ராவலர்ஸ், ஆஃப்ரிக்காலேருந்து வந்தவங்க அறிகுறி இங்கே வந்தப்புறம் அறிகுறி வந்து அவங்கள டெஸ்ட் பண்ணி பார்த்ததுல எம்பாக்ஸ் அப்படின்னு வந்திருக்கு. இப்போ எமர்ஜென்சியாக டிக்ளேர் பண்ணிக்கிற காரணம் வந்து இந்த எம்பாக்ஸே கொஞ்சம் மாறிட்டு இருக்கு. அங்கே ஆஃப்ரிக்காலேயே அந்த கோவிட் எப்படி வேரியண்ட்டாக வந்ததோ அதே மாதிரி இப்போ கிளேட் 1B அப்படின்னு ஒரு புது வேரியண்ட் வந்திருக்கு. அதில் வந்து கொஞ்சம் டெத் ரேட் அதிகமாக இருக்குது, ஒரு 3%. எப்படி பரவுதுன்னா அது ஃபஸ்ட்டு அனிமல்ஸ் டு ஹியூமன் தான் பரவிட்டு இருந்தது. பட் இப்போ வந்து ஹியூமன் டு ஹியூமன் டிரான்ஸ்மிஷன் த்ரூ க்ளோஸ் கான்டாக்ட், ரொம்ப க்ளோஸ் கான்டாக்ட் இருந்தால் தான் அது பரவும். கோவிட் மாதிரி அது சாதாரணமாக ஒரு காற்றுல பரவுற நோய் கிடையாது. ஸோ அதனால் அது அவ்வளோ பயம் இல்லை. இந்த மாதிரி கோவிட் மாதிரி அது உலகெல்லாம் வந்து அது பேண்டமிக்காக மாறும் அப்படின்னு அந்த மாதிரி பயம் கிடையாது. ஆனால் சர்டன் ஆஃப்ரிக்கன் கண்ட்ரீஸில் அது கொஞ்சம் சீரியஸாக இருக்குது. அதுக்கு வந்து தந்தாமானி வேக்சின், ஸ்மால் பாக்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணுற வேக்சின் அதுக்கு யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். ஆனால் அது உலகத்திலே டோசஸ் ரொம்ப கம்மி தான். அதனால தான் அவங்க எமர்ஜென்சியாக இப்போ டிக்ளேர் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. எதுக்காகனா அந்த ஆஃப்ரிக்கன் கண்ட்ரீஸில் வேக்சின் போய் சேரணும் அவங்களுக்கு. இல்லாட்டா அங்கே நிறையா குழந்தைகளுக்கும் யங் பீப்புளுக்கும் எஃபெக்ட் ஆகிட்டுருக்கு. ப்ரெக்னென்ட் விமனுக்கு எஃபெக்ட் ஆகி அவங்க குழந்தைகளை பாதிக்கிறது. ஸோ இப்போ இந்தியாவில் வந்து நம்மளுக்கு கவலைப்படுற மாதிரி அந்த நிலைமை இல்லை. கவர்மெண்ட்டில் ஏற்கனவே அவங்க ஃபுல்லாக சர்வேலன்ஸ் மோடு 30 லேப் ரெடி பண்ணியாச்சு டெஸ்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு. எல்லா ஏர்போர்ட், எல்லா போர்ட்லேயும் வந்து என்ட்ரி ஸ்க்ரீனிங்க்கு வந்து ப்ரோட்டோக்கால் ரெடி பண்ணியாச்சு. ஒரு ஸ்டேட்லேயும் வந்து ஹாஸ்பிட்டலில் பெட்டு ரெடி பண்ணியிருக்கு. ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு ப்ரிகாஷனராக. இப்போதைக்கு இங்கே கேஸ் இல்லை, இங்கே பெருசாக வரத்துக்கும் வாய்ப்பு இல்லை. வந்தால் அது ட்ராவல் மூலமாக ஒரு 2 கேஸ் வரலாம். பட் அந்த கேஸை நம்ம வந்து அப்போவே கண்டுபிடிச்சி அவங்களுக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி ஐசோலேட் பண்ணி ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் கொடுத்தோம்னா அவங்க நல்லாயிடுவாங்க. ஸோ பயப்படுற மாதிரி எதுவுமே இல்லை. பட் இந்தியாவில் வந்து நம்மளுக்கு நிறைய ஆராய்ச்சி இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன்ஸ் இருக்குது, கம்பெனிஸ் இருக்கிறதுனால நம்மளும் அதில் வந்து வேக்சினில் டெவலப் பண்ணலாம். ஏன்னா ஃப்யூச்சரில் இதே மாதிரி வைரஸ், ஸ்மால் பாக்ஸ் நம்ம அழிச்சிட்டோம் உலகத்துலேருந்து நல்ல வேக்சின் இருக்கிறதுனால. பட் இப்போ அந்த வேக்சின் வந்து 1980லேயே நிறுத்தியாச்சு.
ஸ்மால் பாக்ஸ் இராடிகேஷன் ஆனோன்னு. ஸோ அதுக்கப்புறம் பிறந்தவங்களுக்கு வந்து அந்த இம்யூனிட்டி கிடையாது. அதனால் இப்போ வந்து இந்த எம்பாக்ஸோ இன்னும் வேறு பாக்ஸ் வைரஸ் எக்ஸ்போஜர் ஆனால் அது திருப்பி ஒரு நோயாக வரலாம். ஸோ அதனால் ஸ்மால் பாக்ஸ் வேக்சின் அந்த ஃபேமிலி ஆஃப் வைரஸஸ் இந்த வேக்சின் கண்டுபிடிச்சி அதை ரெடி பண்ணி வச்சுக்கிறது எப்போவுமே நல்லது தான். ஸோ WHO நம்ம நாட்டில் இருக்கிற ICMR இவங்களும் டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. இந்தியாவில் வந்து எந்த ஃபேமிலிஸ் வைரல் ஃபேமிலிஸுக்கு வந்து வேக்சின் கண்டுபிடிக்கலாம், நம்ம எப்படி ரெடி பண்ணி வச்சுக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு. இந்த பாக்ஸ் வைரஸஸ் வந்து ஒரு ஃபேமிலி தான். இதே மாதிரி ஒரு 30 டைப் வைரஸ் ஃபேமிலிஸ் இருக்குது பேண்டமிக் பொட்டென்ஷியல் இருக்கிற மாதிரி. ஸோ அது நம்ம வந்து ப்ரிப்பேர்ட்னஸ் ஆக்டிவிட்டீஸ் இப்போவே பண்ணிக்கலாம். ஸோ தட் இந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது வந்ததுன்னா நம்ம ரெடியாக இருக்கலாம்.
இந்த கோவிட்க்கு அப்புறம் வந்துட்டு இது போல ஒரு பெரிய பேண்டமிக்காக ஒரு வைரஸ் வந்தாவே ஒரு வேர்ல்டு லெவலில் ஒரு அலர்ட் கொடுக்குறாங்க. இது மாதிரி அடிக்கடி இந்த மாதிரி இனிமேல் ஃபேஸ் பண்ண வேண்டிய ஒரு சிச்சுவேஷன் இருக்கும்.
கண்டிப்பாக அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாமே பேண்டமிக்காக வரும்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. ஆனால் இந்த கோவிட் வந்ததில் நம்ம நிறையா அதில் லெசன்ஸ் கற்றுக்கிட்டோம். ஸோ இனிமேல் வந்து ரெடியாக இருக்கிறது பெட்டர். அதே மாதிரி நம்மளுக்கு ஒரு ஷாக்காக வரக்கூடாது. புதுசாக ஒன்று வந்துடுச்சு, ஏன்னா எப்படியும் ஒரு வருஷத்தில் வேக்சின் கண்டுபிடிச்சிட்டாங்க, ஆனாலும் அந்த 1 இயரில் நிறையா பேர் இறந்து போயிட்டாங்க இல்லையா. அதனால தான் இப்போ WHO எல்லா தேசத்தோடையும் சேர்த்து அவங்க வந்து முதலே ப்ரிப்பேர்ட்னஸ் பண்ணிக்கோங்க, நீங்கள் சர்வேலன்ஸை இம்ப்ரூவ் பண்ணணும், இந்த வேக்சின் அண்ட் ட்ரக் டெவலப்மெண்ட் இம்ப்ரூவ் பண்ணணும், ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ், ஆக்சிஜன், ஐசோலேஷன், நிறைய ஆக்டிவிட்டீஸ் இருக்குது. ஸோ பேண்டமிக் ப்ரிப்பேர்ட்னஸ்ங்கிறது இப்போ எல்லாமே சீரியஸாக எடுத்துகிட்டு பண்ணிகிட்ருக்காங்க. எப்போ அடுத்த பேண்டமிக் வரும், அது எந்த மாதிரி வைரஸ்னால வரும், அது யாராலையும் அதை ப்ரெடிக்ட் பண்ண முடியாது. ஸோ பெஸ்ட் இஸ் தட் வி ஷுட் பி ப்ரிப்பேர்ட் அண்ட் we should have our public health, very strong public health programs.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Please.
Thank you. Thanks.
You're going down to see the sun?